Peace. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living one. The Supreme Spirit of all is one. All right? And the Supreme Spirit of one created a lot of souls, a lot of entities, fractures of himself, God himself, good and evil, intertwined with one another, placed underneath of a vault, our souls trapped inside of a flesh suit. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit. If you wish to escape this plane of existence, this realm we live in, you must have a contrite heart. You must turn from your sins. You must call on the Spirit of Truth, the living God, to place his breath of life upon you. Billions of people on this plane of existence are walking around as the dead. They have no spirit of life. You will continue to live and die, live and die, and live and die. Joshua to succeed Moses. Then Moses went out and spoke these words to all Israel. I am now 120 years old, and I am no longer able to lead you. The Lord has said to me, you shall not cross the Jordan. Well, why? I thought that was the land that he was giving you to possess. You just read it in the last chapter. The Lord your God himself will cross over ahead of you. He will destroy these nations before you, and you will take possession of their land. Joshua also will cross over ahead of you, as the Lord said, and the Lord will do to them what he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, whom he destroyed along with their land. Now remember, the Amorites are tied in with the Amalekites, and the Amalekites are those of the Anunnaki, which are the Anu and the Samaritan tablets, all right, whom he destroyed along with their land. The Lord will deliver them to you, and you must do to them all that I have commanded you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Look, do not be afraid or terrified of them, because they are images. They are not real. This plane of existence isn't real. The only time you get yourself in trouble, Israel, is when you step into when you start participating with the dead, when you start doing their drugs, when you start doing their alcohol, when you drink, you party, you go dancing and stuff. The minute you start walking contrary like that, this is why you get yourself in so much trouble. This is why you have that little voice in your head. This is why you keep asking yourself, why does this keep happening to me? Because you do. Atheists won't admit about a voice in their head. I'm telling you, everybody has that voice in your head. Everybody has the stirred voice in their head. Anybody who tells you that they're not in their head all the time, if they're walking down the street, 40 minutes down the street and stuff, you're not in your head. You're not thinking about the girl you want to be with, or the job that you'd like to have, or the car that you want to work for, or any of that stuff. That's all floating through your head. And then you might even ask yourself, well, what is life all about? You might look up to the sky and say, are you really out there? Are you really God? Or is there a God that really exists? Well, yeah. Well, there's many gods that exist. This is why the Israel God is telling you, Israel, that the Lord your God is one. He's not a multiple. He's not a trinity. Okay? He is the one. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So he's telling you that he will never leave you. So he will never leave you is a contradiction to here, Genesis chapter 9, verse 6, Bible Hub. Oh, that's the wrong one. Give me a second. I will not contend with man, for your days will be 120. So the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. His days shall be 120. And now you got Moses, who's at the age of 120. He's getting ready to surpass those years. And he gave this command that men wouldn't live past 120. So that's incorrect. All right. So again, this is the Lord Yahweh. All right. And it's the spirit of a man. You understand? And so God's telling you here that he's not going to contend with man forever. But then here, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. If he's never going to leave you, then why is he telling you that he will not contend with man forever? That's a contradiction. The further we get into the Bible, the easier it is for me to point out the contradictions. Then Moses summoned Joshua and said to him in the presence of all Israel, "Be strong and courageous, for you must go with this people into the land that the Lord swore to their ancestors to give them, and you must divide it among them as their inheritance. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. My spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. His days shall be 120. Public reading of the law. So Moses wrote down this law and gave it to the Leviticus priest, who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord. The Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, folks, is the tablets, is your brain, it's your mind inside of the covenant. The two cherubim is the left and right tablets of your hemisphere. You got to make these connections and stop taking all of the parables literal. There are parables that are figuratively, and then there's parables that are literal. You have to learn to identify and use discernment in what's being said. So Moses went down the covenant, the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, into all the elders of Israel. Then Moses commanded them, at the end of every 7 years, in the year for canceling debt, during the festival of the tabernacles, when all Israel comes to appear before the Lord your God at the place he will choose, you shall read this law before them in their hearing. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the foreigner residing in your towns. The foreigner residing in your town is the Gentile nations. They're the strangers. They're the aliens. They're the AI. They are the alien invasions. They are the artificial intelligence. They are Jesus coming down on a cloud, residing in your town. The cloud is the iCloud. The cloud is the quantum computer. Everything is pushing AI now. AI. You get hit by a car, don't call an attorney. Contact AI. AI. The AI is an alien invasion, folks, of artificial intelligence. An alien invasion of artificial intelligence, okay? When all Israel comes to appear before the Lord your God at the place he will choose, you shall read this law before them in their hearing. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the foreigner residing among your towns, so that they can listen and learn to fear the Lord your God and follow carefully all the words of his law. Their children who do not know this law must hear it and learn to fear the Lord your God as long as you live in the land you are possessing in the Jordan to possess. So it just said up here that you're not getting the land. You're not going into the Jordan, or the last chapter that I read. Okay, Israel's rebellion predicted. Well, the Lord said to Moses, now the day of your death is near. Call Joshua and present themselves at the tent of meeting, where I will commission him. So Moses and Joshua came and presented themselves at the tent of meeting. Then the Lord appeared, Yahweh. This is how come it appears. Because God says that no man can see his face and live. Exodus chapter 33, verse 20, Bible Hub. But he added, you cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live. So the magic question to ask yourself here is, if no one can see God's face and live, then how are you guys looking at, you butt licks, looking at Jesus Christ as God and seeing his face as God? Because you're the walking dead. It's that simple. Then the Lord appeared at the tent of the pillar of cloud, and the cloud stood over the entrance to the tent. The cloud, the iCloud, the AI computer. Jesus is coming down on a cloud, the iClouds. He's coming down on a cloud. We live in a simulation. And the Lord said to Moses, you are going to rest with your ancestors, and these people will soon prostitute themselves to the foreign gods of the land they are entering. They will forsake me and break the covenant I made with them. And in that day I will become angry with them and forsake them. I will hide my face from them. Well, hide your face from them. I just showed you that you can't see God's face and live. So who is this that's going to hide his face from them? It's the same guy here. Look. Exodus chapter 33, verse 9 through 11. Right here, 9 through 11. As Moses went into the tent, the pillar of the cloud would come down and stay at the entrance while the Lord spoke with Moses. Whenever the people saw the pillar of a cloud standing at the entrance to the tent, they all stood worshiping, each at the entrance to their tent. The Lord would speak to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. The Lord, Yahweh, would speak with Moses face to face as one speaks with a friend. That can't be. He says right down here, you cannot see my face, for no one may see me and live. So no matter how you try, you cannot see the Spirit of God. At least you can't in this plane of existence, in this realm. The angels that are in heaven that worship the Spirit, they may be able to see the Spirit. They know the Spirit, but I can't say otherwise. Okay, then, okay, so you can't see God's face and live. And the reason why of all this is because all you guys were turning to other gods. Okay, the 33 million gods that are on this plane of existence that everybody's worshiping. Offensive freaking ads. I get offensive ads when I'm reading the Bible. When I'm doing my shows, they don't really show the pop-ups of women and stuff. But if I'm on Facebook or something and just reading stuff, they're always popping up half-naked women, you know. And it's for me, it's become revolting. You know, I think women are beautiful creatures and everything, but that's just what they are. They're creatures. All right, there's no spirit on them. So Israel got yourselves in trouble because you turned to the Gentile gods. All right, and then then you have the atheists that say that there is no God, and then you have all the other gods. So you're under attack from Satan at every freaking angle, man. Satan is in every corner of the world. And when I say that, I mean controlling by flesh. Satan is the flesh suit. Now, write down this song and teach it to the Israelites and have them sing it, so that it may be a witness for me against them. When I have brought them into the land flowing with milk and honey, and the land I promised on an oath to their ancestors, and when they eat their fill and thrive, they will turn to their gods and worship them, rejecting me and breaking my covenant. And when many disasters and calamities come on them, this song will testify against them, because it will not be forgotten by their descendants. I know what they are disposed to do, even before I bring them into the land I promised them on oath. So Moses wrote down this song that day and taught it to the Israelites. So, what is the song? Is there any Israelites out there that could post the song that you're supposed to be singing to the Lord with your covenant with Him? Does anybody know it? Can an Israelite answer that question for me? If there's any Israelites in this room that are listening to me teach this Bible, can you answer that question? What is the song? The Lord gave this command to Joshua, son of Nun: be strong and courageous, for you will bring the Israelites into the land I promised them on oath, and I myself will be with you. After Moses finished writing in a book the words of this law from beginning to end, he gave this command to the Levites who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord: take this book of the law and place it beside the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God. There it will remain as a witness against you. Why against you, Israel? Someone clarify that one for me. For I know how rebellious and stiff-necked you are. Okay, well, I just answered my own question. That's why. There it will remain as a witness against you, for I know how rebellious and stiff-necked you are. If you have been rebellious against the Lord while I am still alive... What? If you have been rebellious against the Lord while I am still alive and with you, the Lord is still alive and with you, how much more will you rebel after I die? Oh my goodness. I love reading this Bible today, man, because that's huge. So the Lord here is going to die. He's telling you that. For I know how rebellious and stiff-necked you are. If I have been rebellious against the Lord while I am still... if I have been rebellious against the Lord while I'm still alive and with you, how much more will you rebel after I die? Assemble before me all the elders of your tribes and all your officials, so that they can speak these words in their hearing, and call the heavens and the earth to testify against them. For I know that after my death you are sure to become utterly corrupt and to turn from the ways I have commanded you. In days to come, disaster will fall on you, because you will do evil in the sights of the Lord and arouse his anger by what your hands have made. The song of Moses. And Moses recited the words of this song from beginning to end in the hearing of the whole assembly of Israel. So real quick, I want to look. There's your song. Okay, so we have this song that's going to be given. Listen, you heavens, and I will speak. All right, folks. I hope this helps you. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth. Have a contrite heart. Be humble and ask the Spirit of Truth to be upon you. Okay, ask the living God to come on your empty shell. All right, because as soon as that happens and he purges you, and believe me, when he purges you, you feel your shame at that point in time. You should feel your shame when you're walking contrary to the commandments. When I say commandments, I mean the 10 Commandments on your heart. If you're breaking any of the 10 Commandments with the scales on your eyes, you're not going to realize how deathly that is, detrimental is to your soul, walking like that. So I hope you all pull out of it. Much love. This is White Raptor News Ministries.